All right, so you finally decided to take the leap and go ahead and book that very first Carnival cruise, but you don't know what ship to pick. Let me help you out. And if you guys don't know who I am, I'm DeAndre. I'm a travel agent. If you need help booking your first or next cruise, head on over to the link in my bio to get started. Okay, so picking that right cruise ship for you. Now, picking it with Carnival, it can have its ups and downs and hits and misses, but I'm going to help you out and tell you what ships I recommend and give you the vibes for each one so you know what ship will be right for you. All right, so for your shorter sailings, for your 2 to 5 night sailings, let me give you my recommendations. And I'm also going to give you guys disclaimers about the ships if I need to. But the first up is 2 to 5 night sailings, the short weekend sailings. Okay, so first up is the Carnival Conquest, doing 3 and 4 night Bahama cruises. All right, so the Carnival Conquest does 3 and 4 night sailings out of Miami, visiting places like Nassau, Celebration Key, Half Moon Key, and Princess Keys. Now, the Carnival Conquest is a bit of an older ship, so you're going to see a lot of wear and tear, but she is going into dry dock in January of 2026. So if you sell on her after February 2026, she'll be newly updated and have some new features and a fresh coat of paint. Okay, so now these sailings are good for those people who just want to test the waters, want to make sure that they don't get motion sickness, or make sure that they like it. Just somebody who's trying to test the waters. It's also good for those short weekend cruises. You want a good turn up. This is a good ship for you. And with the honorable mention to the Carnival Glory out of Port Canaveral, doing the same itinerary, she is also another older ship as well. All right, so next up, we're flying all the way over to Long Beach to talk about the Carnival Radiance. Now, the Carnival Radiance is sailing out of Long Beach, California, doing 3, 4, and 5 night sailings. The Carnival Radiance visits places like Catalina Island, Cabo San Lucas, and Ensenada, Mexico. Now, during Hawaii season, she does sail to Hawaii doing 14-night round-trip cruises. And Carnival Radiance is also another older ship who is completely refurbished from bow to stern, so I don't really have any bad things to say about her. All right, and so next up is Carnival Firenze out of Long Beach for now, doing those 4 and 5 night sailings, going to the same places that the Carnival Radiance is going. Now I'm going back home to my home port of Galveston, Texas. Out of Galveston, the Carnival Breeze doing 4 and 5 night Western Caribbean sailings to Cozumel, Mexico, and Yucatan Progreso as well. Now, the Carnival Breeze is a old-ish ship. It's kind of middle-aged. It debuted in 2012. So she's a bit of an older ship, but she's also my favorite ship and still a great ship to sail on. All right, and so the next one is the Carnival Sunrise. I don't want to hear it at all. I know. Carnival Sunrise. She is a great ship since they refurbished her, doing 5 night sailing, 4 and 5 night sailings to Western Caribbean and the Bahamas. And Carnival Sunrises visits places like Ocho Rios, Jamaica, Grand Cayman, Celebration Key. She also visits Princess Keys and Nassau. Oh, she also visits Montego Bay, Jamaica as well. All right, so now we're gonna move over to our 6 to 9 day cruises, which is probably going to be 6 to 8 day cruises. First up, we are leaving out of Miami, and we're gonna talk about the Carnival Celebration. All right, so the Carnival Celebration does Eastern, Western, and Southern Caribbean cruises, visiting places like Grand Turk, Amber Cove, Nassau, Bahamas, Celebration Key, Cozumel, Mahogany Bay, Roatan, and Celebration Key again. All right, so next up we have the Carnival Horizon doing 6 and 8 night cruises to the Western and Southern Caribbean. The Carnival Horizon visits places like Grand Cayman, Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, Celebration Key, Cozumel, Mexico, and for her 8-day Southern Caribbean, she visits places like Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And she also visits Grand Turk, Amber Cove, and Nassau, Bahamas. Next up, we have the Carnival Magic doing 6 and 8 night Eastern Caribbean cruises from Miami. She visits places like San Juan, St. Martin, St. Croix. She also visits Celebration Key, Amber Cove, and Grand Turk. All right, so next up we have Mardi Gras doing 7-night Western and Eastern Caribbean cruises, visiting places like Grand Turk, Amber Cove, Nassau, Bahamas, Celebration Key, Mahogany Bay, Roatan, Cozumel, and Celebration Key. Next up, we have the Carnival Vista out of Port Canaveral, Orlando, doing 8 and 6 night Southern and Eastern Caribbean cruises, visiting places like Grand Turk, Amber Cove, Celebration Key, Aruba, Bonaire, and Celebration Key again. Oh, she also does 6 nights visiting Half Moon Key, Amber Cove, and Celebration Key. All right, next we're going back home to Galveston and we're going to talk about the Carnival Dream. Carnival Dream is currently doing 6 and 8 night cruises going to the Western Caribbean and Bahamas, visiting places like Costa Maya, Belize, Cozumel, Roatan, Honduras, the Key West, Florida, Celebration Key, Half Moon Key, and Nassau. And then there's a couple 7 night Western Caribbean visiting Montego Bay, Grand Cayman, and Cozumel. All right, next up is, I don't need anything to pull this up because she only does one sailing. Carnival Jubilee going to Roatan, Honduras, Costa Maya, Mexico, and Cozumel, Mexico. Those are 7 night Western Caribbean cruises. And finally, we're back in Long Beach again. I think I already said it, but Carnival Firenze doing 6 night cruises to Ensenada, Mexico, and doing an overnight in Cabo San Lucas. And then we're going to wrap this whole thing up with the Carnival Panorama out of Long Beach again. I believe she does 6 to 8 night cruises out of Long Beach, visiting places like Cabo San Lucas, doing overnights there. Ensenada, Mexico, Puerto Vallarta, Mazatlan, and La Paz. I think that's it. Yep. So those are all the ships that I recommend. Now, let me tell you one more thing. All right, so if editing me does his job, you'll understand what I'm about to say. So if you're cruising to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, you're cruising to Half Moon Key for now, Princess Keys, in Grand Cayman, Cayman Islands. Those are tender ports, meaning you do not dock. The ship will drop anchor, right near the port, and you will get on a tender boat to get to the port destination or island. So you get on a small little boat, and it's about a 10 to 20 minute ride to the island, and then that's how you get to the destination. But yeah, those are all my recommendations for ships. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. I know this was a longer video, but if you need help, if this is a little bit overwhelming, head on over to my website. Link is in my bio. Fill out a booking inquiry and let me help you book that next cruise. But until next time, you guys have a good rest of your day and happy travels. Bye.